Welcome back. It's the GameChanger. So I'm doing a voiceover on a video that I've dropped before, but it was an ASMR version. So my client came in, he wanted to cut his locks off, start over, get a low taper, but he's had some thinning. I think it comes from obviously genetics, also the pulling of the locks. You know, the more you lock your hair, the longer your locks get, the heavier they become, which actually pulls tension on that hair shaft, which pulls it out. So sometimes you can thin that way. So he's been thinning. So what we want to do, right? The biggest thing when we have a client that's thinning that wants to keep their hair, you want to blend it and make it look as smooth as possible, as full as possible. Good news is the only reason it's so noticeable now is because his hair is very dense, very thick, and he has a lot of hair in certain areas. But once we cut it down to about a 1.5, it'll all start to blend in. So that's one of the major keys. When a client starts to thin, but they're not bald, bald is way different than thin. The lower you cut it, because those hair shafts that density kind of loosen up, the longer the hair get, it'll blend in better. So when we cut the locks off, it's always good to cut the lock off where it locked at last. So if you see some of that residue buildup, that's just product from when he got his locks twisted. I cut right below that, so that way when I pick his hair out and actually shampoo and wash his hair, it won't do any pulling, which actually makes it more comfortable for the client. So again, you can see where I can tell you right now, this won't be as bad. It still will be thin, but we can blend it a lot better. So after we cut it down, he hasn't had a haircut in I think over 5-6 years. We want to manipulate the hair. So first we'll comb it out, kind of clean it up as much as possible, loosen some of that dirt up, some of that product build up on his scalp. Then I'll cut it down, then we'll wash it. So I'm cutting it down first just to get the majority of the thick hair and that product out. I think I cut it down to a 2 and a 2 open. No, actually I did a 3. I cut it down to a 3 first. Then I'll wash his hair, then I'll come back and we'll kind of get started with the process. All right, so I'm cutting it down, and what you want to do, big key, you want to look for multiple growth patterns. He hasn't had a haircut in a while, so his hair is free formed at those roots as they can be. So I want to cut it down. I'm looking here, growth pattern looks very good. Then I want to wash and shampoo. This is where you tame the hair. This is where you manipulate the hair. So I'll saturate the scalp with water, then I'll put the shampoo on, I'll scrub the scalp, but then I'll also brush and comb it in the curl pattern that I want it to be. So y'all watch and I'll be back soon. All right, so now that we got the hair nice and washed, what I'll do is I'll come back with my metal tool with the ceramic blade, and I'll cut it down to the desired length for the style, right? The first haircut, the first pass when I cut it before I washed it was just to cut it down, see the growth patterns. So look, you can still see, and I'm gonna come back to that point, you can still see the thinning, but it's not as bad, it's not as dramatic. Then I'll come through and I'll debulk around in a circle around those thin spots where it's really dense to kind of loosen up to make it blend even better. All right, so yeah, I was cutting it down pre-wash just to see the growth patterns. Then I cut it down to the desired length after. That primary line you saw me put in with the first gold clipper, which was my trimmer, was the primary line that separates the hair from the skin. The line you just saw me put in with my gold fading clipper, which was the Babyliss FX, was to separate the light hair from the dark hair. The best way to achieve a fade is to section it, do it in steps. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with blending and debulking. So what I do is that line that separates the skin from the hair, I blend it together. Then now, before I start to attack that line that separates the light hair from the dark hair, I debulk. So debulking means to take out a lot of that mass, that density, because it's very hard to fade dense, thick hair. So the more you thin it out in steps from a 2 to a 1.5 to a 1 to a 1/16, however many steps you need to debulk it, once it's time to blend or fade or transition that line together with everything else, it'll be much easier. I have a saying, the lighter the area, the easier the fade. So what I just did was I took the 1.5 and now I'm debulking with the one. So with these tutorials, I think I do a lot of teaching, but I'm actually about to come out with a course that I'll break this down way more detailed. Very small steps. It'll be a course where I break it down week by week. If that's something y'all interested in the comments, let me know. Because the tutorials are good, but it's no operating system, right? It's scattered. With a course, I can actually be very detailed, like I said, and I break it down from step one to the guards, wrist movement, hand movement, why use a comb, when to use the comb. Okay, right here, you see how I'm debulking. I'm debulking the mask so that way that thin area blends in a lot smoother. That's a very important key. Manipulation, playing with it, making it work for you. All right. It's all about the crafting of the haircut. So now that I debulked, what I'm doing now with no guard, I'm blending the sections in. So if you notice right there when I'm working, you see how much mass and density that was? Now, since I debulk with my 1.5 and my one, it's much easier to just blend and transition all this together. So you all watch and I'll be back soon. All right, so one thing I want to speak on hand placement. 1 minute. See how I'm choking up on the clippers? I got my index finger on the back of the clipper. Now it's not. Now my thumb is more powerful on top. But then right here, I have a much looser. Now my thumb is below the power trigger on these clippers. Leverage on the clippers allows you to manipulate and taper in different ways. When I need to do more of a feathery brush type fade, I'm very loose on the clippers. Whenever I want to be more aggressive and attack more mass or bulk in the haircut, I'll choke up tighter on the clipper. So that's the point that I wanted to kind of point out to you all as well. Okay, so let's talk about when it's time to edge around the ear. You want to debulk. So this is like a tiger claw method. I want the hair to lay down so that when he washes and styles his hair, over curly hair tends to recoil and run away. So I want it to lay down before I edge it. So no matter what he does to his hair, that edge up in the back stays straight without having me have to push it in or push it back. So same method on the side. Primary line right there. Now I'm just kind of evening it out. I'm cutting the hair down. Then I'll come and do my secondary line. So primary line separates the skin from the hair. Debulking more. I'm debulking more. Now right here, secondary line separates the light from the dark. So it's literally a two-line, two-space method. And then I'll do the exact same thing where I debulk. Where I blend that line in. Then I'll debulk the light from dark. Then I'll bring it together. When it's time for the next step, I'll let you know. A reverse tiger claw method, using upside down, putting the blade closer to the skin. Y'all watch and I'll be back soon. All right, so very important. Look at my offhand. You see how I'm stretching the skin. You might think I'm trying to palm his head, but really I'm stretching that skin, especially with humans with looser skin. You tighten it up. The tighter the workspace, the easier it is for the clippers to work, and the easier it is for you to be detailed and precise with your precision fading. Right? You want to make sure you lock on a specific area. Don't just randomly fade. Know what you're trying to hit, so that way you can give a nice detailed, sharp look. I'll be back when it's time for the edge up. Y'all watch my hands, watch the movements, watch the details that I'm that I'm implementing. Watch the steps that I'm doing. Alrighty, so now it's time for the edge up. Same thing, I wanna lay that hair down as much as I can, get some of that mass or thickness or bulk off that edge up so it can lay down. Then I come with my hot lather, lay the hair down. I'll explain more why if you buy my course. Nah, but what happens is you wanna swell that cuticle up, which is the outermost layer of the hair shaft, and you also wanna use that heat to soften that hair shaft as well. So that way, when you use the razor, it glides very smoothly. Also, it just helps lay down the hair and manipulate it. You want to give a nice finished look. All right, so then after I do that for about 15, 20 seconds, let that rag sit on, let the rag sit on there. Also, when the hair lays down, that's the new shave gel. This is back when it was a prototype. Y'all go check out the shave gel we launched, man. It works amazingly, as y'all are about to see. Super smooth. But I was about to say something about anyway, stretch the skin when you're using the razor. What was I about to say though, y'all? Yeah, you want to lay it down for a nice, finished, smooth look. Oh, also, when you lay that hair down, you can see some spots that you may have missed when you first start cutting. So when you go back and do your extra detail work, you can find it. All right, so I'm debulking again, a razor over comb, hitting those edges so that way the edge up can, man, that hair coming off super smooth and easy. All right, I want to pull from the top and the bottom of the skin and the scalp, tighten that skin so my razor can glide very easily and smoothly. And yeah, I just don't want to push the edge up back. Keep it nice and natural as possible. And then in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. We go to the back, same thing. Detail work, keep it out, get that excess hair off, but we don't want to push it back, push it in. Then I'll come back and hit my details in a little bit. See y'all soon. All right, so we always come back for some finish up work, clean up. It's looking amazing, nice, sharp. You cannot even tell he came in with locks, but I want to know what y'all think in the comments. Tell me yay, nay. Tell me what y'all think about me dropping that course. That'll be more structured, start to finish. I'm gonna do a version. Oh, also about to see the before and after. I'll give y'all more details about the courses. Catered to everybody soon. But I hope y'all like it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Let's get these numbers up. This how he came in. This how he leaving out. Let's see what he think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Looks good.
Good?
Yes, sir.